Welcome to Truth by Billie Beene, and thanks for like, subscribe, and share. Today's date, May 12, 2026, time in Texas about 4 p.m. Some of the things we'll cover. We know with all the Strait of Hormuz closed, we're down on many oil-based products. And apparently this is going to include oil changes for our cars and simple things we buy every day like Vaseline. And what's up with the nukes? We have information coming out about the U.S. and nukes, Russia and nukes, Iran and nukes, and so on. And then President Trump bids us farewell on his trip this afternoon to China. So we have this going on. I have a Patriot subscriber talking about Iran, the IRGC oil tankers. It's believed, according to my Patriot subscriber, the IRGC ships a lot more than oil on those tankers, including human trafficking. And we have from Joshua Phillips with Crossroads. President Trump is now going to put in gear the U.S. government removing naturalized citizens, separating them from their citizenship in the U.S. if they've come from a foreign country, gone through the naturalization process to become a U.S. citizen, but have engaged in terrorism, some kind of election fraud, other types of monetary fraud, and so on. President Trump's government is going to vigorously hunt down and remove the citizenship and deport these individuals. Way to go, President Trump. And we have this from New York Prepper. So we heard in the past 24 hours or so, all of the Hanta virus people who either currently are active with Hanta virus or have been exposed to it, have been dispersed to their nations. We had 17 come to the U.S. Now we have more detail on where did the 17 go. We have 15 going to the University Hospital in Nebraska. And we have 2 Americans going to Atlanta to Emory University Hospital. Plus, it's coming out inside the U.S. We had dozens of other U.S. citizens on the Hontius who had been on that trip but had been released from the ship earlier than several weeks ago, and that we had 7 U.S. citizens who are now located in 5 different states who are also being tracked by the CDC. So that's going on. We have this from U.S. Intel. Okay. May 12, this came out about 4 p.m. this afternoon, just shortly before my video, that large companies like Mobil and Shell have advised Costco and Walmart that there will be no more shipments of the prepackaged oil for various vehicles. Mobil and Shell are not going to be shipping out vehicle oil. And that, in addition, many petroleum-based products we normally see at Costco, Walmart, our grocery stores, drug stores, and so on, primarily like ointments, creams, and salves, both prescribed and non-prescribed, will be in short supply. This would include the ubiquitous Vaseline. It's not going to be on store shelves. So what's on the store shelves now of many brands of oil for an oil change for your car? There's no more supply coming in the near future. Same thing for ointments, creams, and salves on our shelves, including Vaseline. So that's going on. And we have this from Tusi TV. Keir Starmer, we know the Labor Department lost its backing in the recent election last week in the UK. And now the Labour Party is after Keir Starmer to resign. Up to 100 MPs in the Labor Department are now asking Starmer to resign. We have this from Stephen Gardner. Republicans are up in American polls just before our midterms, and that President Trump just recently said he was going to release information about the voter fraud that took place in the 2020 presidential election. Way to go, that involved mail-in ballots and voter rigging. Way to go, President Trump. I have this from a Patriot subscriber, that we should get the U.S. Patent Department to release all patents so people can use various patents to benefit America. Way to go, Patriot subscriber. And I have a Patriot subscriber. Odd that there's only one video from the Hantias, and puts forth, this appears the Hantias, I'm putting forth, I believe it's a bioweapon, the hantavirus. My Patriot subscriber says, this is British Empire false flag, like they did with the C-19. I agree completely. And we have this, U.S. Intel. So we had, yesterday I reported a U.S. nuclear sub, the Ohio class, we found out was armed with Trident nukes, went around the Strait of Gibraltar and is now in the Mediterranean Sea. Now we have information coming out that also yesterday we had a U.S. Nuke command plane, the E6 Mercury, was up. So the Ohio class sub is the USS Alaska, and it carries only Tridents, nuclear armed bombs, and it's down the Mediterranean. And we have the E6B Mercury plane that can transmit to submerged submarines. That was over the Mediterranean Sea. So we have the USS Ohio, USS Alaska, an Ohio-class nuke sub under the Mediterranean. Then over the Mediterranean, we have the plane that can give launch orders to the submerged submarine. We also have a second E6B. This came up yesterday about 6 p.m. They took off from the joint Lakenhurst-McGuire base in New Jersey, flying out over the Atlantic Ocean close to the U.S. coast. So that happened yesterday with our nuke two of our nuke command planes and one of our nuke-armed submarines. We have this from U.S. Intel. We have yesterday also the Russian nuclear-capable hypersonic missile, the Sarmat ICBM, was tested yesterday, and a new speed record for it puts out that it can reach European capitals in 202 seconds after it is launched from the Kapustin Yar location in Russia. So in 202 seconds, Russia with this missile can hit London, Paris, Berlin, Rome. So yeah, that's going on. And we have this from Fox News today. Iran, makes this public in their government proceedings that the Iranian government now is voting to take their 60% enriched uranium and juice it up even more to be 90% nuke weapons grade. And we, the American people, can say to the Iranian government, shut up. Now, let's go over this. We have the Iranian government that's in a dust-up with the U.S., and one of the U.S.'s primary requirements is no nukes for Iran, and yet Iran's government takes a vote and makes it public to the world that they're going to take their 60% enriched uranium and juice it up to 90% weapons grade to make a bomb. Okay, Iran. Just wait until President Trump finishes his China trip. Okay, we have this from U.S. Intel. Yeah. Iran says no more talks on peace between the U.S. and Iran. And Iran maintains that the U.S. should surrender to Iran. And Iran refuses any more talks about nuclear material. They said that on the same day that they went into their legislative process and made it public. Oh yeah, we have 60% enriched uranium, but we're going to juice it up 90% and make a bomb, a nuclear bomb. So, okay. We have this from CCTV. We're seeing many earthquakes around Tehran, and it's believed that Tehran could be testing something. Well, it's been my position for years that Iran has nukes and has had them since the 70s or 80s. So if they're testing something, and they're being very open today in their legislative process and announcing to the world, we're going to juice up our 60% uranium to 90% and make a nuke bomb. And now we're hearing that something's being tested, causing earthquakes around Tehran. Okay. And we're hearing this. The U.S. government is putting out rewards, wanted, like the Old West, dead or alive. Some of these individuals can snag the bounty hunter $10 million. These are IRGC. Number one on the list. Ayatollah number 2, Mustafa Khamenei. His chief of staff, who is unidentified, and his aides around him, who are also unidentified. So that's going on. And we're hearing the U.S. is currently sanctioning 3 Chinese companies who are providing satellite intel to Iran. No doubt President Trump and President Xi will have a chance to chat about what's going on in Iran. So this concludes my flash update. I love you, and I'll see you soon.